Hey everybody, I know a number of you said you were struggling with number 14 here as well, so I wanted to just put together a quick video, see if it would help you. Again, because these algorithmic problems, the numbers might be different for you. Maybe you get lucky and they're the same for you. So that'd be pretty fresh if that were the case. And so let's just take a look at it. So the first, let's see, so it gives us all this information, the Sunrise Coffee Company. And it looks like it's actually an account, right, with debits and credits. And so we can see the balance, everything else. So the first part is to look at units. And so the units charged to production, our inventory and process on December 1st, we can see right here that there were 12,300 units, 80% completed. So I'm going to do 12,300. That was what was in process. And then here it tells us we received materials for 212,800. So our total units accounted for by the roasting department then are just those two added up, 12,300 plus 212,800 or 225,100. So that's the units we have to account for. And then our units to be assigned cost, we're going to have what we transfer to the packing department. So if we look on here, we can see that we transferred 214,600 units. And then our inventory in process at the end of the month isn't given to us. So what we have to do is we have to add up what we had or so we began with 12,300 and then we added 212,800 in direct materials. So we had 225,100 available for use. And then we transferred out 214,600. So I'm going to say minus 214,600. So we must have had 10,500 left over in process. Remember, these are in whole units. We can add those up. And that's going to give us our total units to be assigned cost, 225,100, which we can see actually matches up with our total units to account for. And then our equivalent units of production, for those we transferred out, those are whole units. So it means we transferred out 100% of a unit. So it's going to be the same as our whole units, 214,600. And our inventory in process, right? We can look up here and see that we had whatever it was 30% completed. So if I take 10,500 times 30% or zero point 0.3, I had 3,150 equivalent units there. And then I just add them up to get my total units to be assigned costs. So add to that 214,600. So 217,750. All right. We'll use a check just to make sure we're on the right track, and we are. Um, anyway, so there's all of our unit information. So now we're going to get to costs. So the total cost for December in the roasting department is just going to be the balance of this account, right? This is the cost that we put in to finish those units, and then and then all of these other costs. So they add up to 696,800. Wait a minute, let me make sure. Yeah, I think that's right. And then our total equivalent units, we figured out right here, 217,750. And so if we take the total costs divided by the total equivalent units, that will give us the cost per equivalent unit divided by 217,750, 3.2 or $3.20. All right. So now we want the costs of our inventory and process at December 1st. So we can look up here and it just tells us it, right? Like this was how much it cost us to complete this inventory and process. So 29,151. And then the costs incurred in December. So again, it's just these three. Those are the new costs we're adding in December. So 667,649. And then our total cost here, we're just going to get by adding these up. So 667, 649 plus 29, 151 or 696, 800. Which again, that should be the same as our total costs, right? This just shows us how we account for it. 29,151 for what was in process, plus 667, 649 for additional incurred during December. And now we're going to look at how we allocate them. So we have the transfer to the packing department and then the inventory and process. So if we look, we transferred 214,000. We'll actually look at the equivalent units, but 214,600 units to the packing department. So if we multiply that by our cost per equivalent unit, that'll give us the costs allocated to completed units here. So I'm going to take 214,600 units times the $3.20 or 3.2 cost per equivalent unit, and that gives me 686,720. And then our inventory and process on December 31st, again, we figured out the equivalent units, right? There's actually 10,500 whole units, but because they're only 30% done, it's 3,150 equivalent units. So we use that 3,150 equivalent units times a cost of 3.2 per equivalent unit gives us 10,080. Whoops. And then we can add those together for our total costs, and they should match, right? This is kind of a way of checking ourselves here. So 10,080 plus 686, 720, 696, 800. So that should be good. We'll double check by using a check my work, and we're all good. I hope this is helpful. And if you still have questions, let me know.